This is the Rushmore Show, where it's all about your top four, and nothing more.
Nothing more.
Welcome to the first ever teaser episode of the Rushmore Show. I'm Andy.
And I'm Kirk.
And we are so thrilled for you to be here today. It's finally happening, Kirk. We're finally having the Rushmore Show. So excited for this. Hey, but before we get into today's episode, I want to remind you guys, follow us on social media. We've got all of the links down in the description, and you'll see all of that stuff there. So we're excited for you to join us on social media. It's going to be a blast.
Yeah, make sure you like and share, and bring your friends along, because we have so many things we have planned this year. Giveaways, special guests, all kinds of promotional deals, even maybe some swag gear to rock with us. And man, we're so excited to get this going. Man, it's just two friends wanting to just share the love and take you guys on a journey with us.
Yeah, it's going to be a blast. We're so excited for it. And let's go ahead and get started.
Let's do it. Hey, Andy, I think we should tell everybody who we are. So look, I'm Kirk. Andy is a good friend of mine. We were both pastors in the faith. And I took a journey and moved all the way to Atlanta. And when I did, my buddy Andy took my position back home. So, man, we have a lot of things in common. We love all kinds of things like sports and geeky things, even different types of music and stuff. So while that was going on, every time we get together, there's this little thing that we like to do is what's your Rushmore? And so I just peek out and share things with him like, what's your Rushmore of Thanksgiving sides, Andy? And then it goes on to some super banter about back and forth of what should be our top four.
Yeah, and I'm Andy. Kirk just said it. I'm a pastor as well. I took his job. No, we like to joke and say that, but no, but yeah, it's just one of those things. It's, you get together with your friends and you probably have conversations that are off the wall and crazy. This is just one of those things that we talk about all the time. And we thought you guys might enjoy being a part of it as well. And like we said earlier, there's going to be times on social media for you to interact with us and send us your Rushmore. So we want to invite you into the couch kind of conversation that we have on our Rushmore. So we are so thrilled for this to get started.
Yeah, man, I think it's going to be a great ride. You guys should be paying attention to our social media, because we will be asking you several questions like, what is your top four for your Rushmore? And you'll find out another little favorite segment of ours about old George. So you guys just check that out, and who knows, you may be able to win some cool prizes. Go, man. It is our teaser spot. This is where we're going to let them know what our very first, going forward, people are going to look back, and this is going to be a trivia question on Jeopardy. Like, what was the very first Rushmore they posted? And it might be hard to find because we have to go all the way back to the teaser trailer. But here we go. So it's the holidays, of course, man. And before we get back to Christmas again, won't be for another year, because our first episode is launching in the first Monday of January, right? So I figured it'd be a good time to kind of let you know some Christmas things about us. And so what is the best thing about Christmas? Well, Christmas movies is probably the best thing for me. And I love Christmas movies. And so there goes a little teaser into what may be my George of Christmas things. And so, Andy, when we're going forward, I would like to ask you this really tough question, because look, as I was going through mine, I could have put about 25 on this mountain. I need a bigger mountain. So what are your Rushmore of Christmas movies?
I love this topic so much. And like you, I need about 18 Rushmores to fully get a picture of what
Whole mountain range. Need a whole mountain range.
I need the Sierra Nevada. I need like the Andes Mountains, literally.
What I've realized, Andy, was I need to know what emotion I'm in at the time I'm picking this.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's just a sneak peek before I unveil my Rushmore of what it looks like in my household right now. We just put up our Christmas decorations and love it so much. I am of the mindset that I could leave them up all year long. That's just me. But I have a wife who says that's crazy, so we won't do that. But my kids would love it too. It's just anyway. But she gets the say in that, which is cool. But what we do right now, we have this tradition that we're just now starting, where we try to every night watch a Christmas movie. It doesn't always happen, but school and life and stuff. But we try to at least sit down at least a few times a week and watch a new Christmas movie. And we kind of rotate between who picks the movies and things like that. So with that being said, I love Christmas.
I don't know that the kids are going to pick my movie of Rushmore's. Just saying.
Yeah, mine probably either. Although, anyway, I'll get into it and you'll understand. So
here we go.
The premise is we've got 4 movies. I've got to pick them. It's always easy to pick the first one, maybe 2. Then it gets really dicey because then you've got to eliminate 1,000 other ones, right? And that's the same for every Rushmore. But for me, it's a little bit more right now. So I'm going to stop talking about all that kind of stuff, and I'm going to just give you my Rushmore. Okay. So coming in at number 1, my George Washington of my Rushmore of Christmas movies. I want to say this is probably going to be your, if not your George, it's your Abe, but it should be most people's top, and it's going to make that is Elf.
Santa! Oh my God!
By far it's almost unfair. It almost needs a mountain of its own. You know what I mean? It just needs that. I don't know if it's a problem. It probably is, but I quote Elf way too often, and it's July. Like July, I'm quoting it. Things like that. For
World's
instance,
greatest cup of coffee.
Yeah, I say it all the time. I say I'll drink coffee from somewhere, and Courtney, my wife, will ask me, "Hey, what do you think of that coffee?" I said, "It tastes like a crappy cup of coffee." I don't know, and it's just sounds like a normal sentence, but for those who love Elf, know that it's a quote from the movie. In fact, it's Christmas time, so we're wrapping presents, and I always use this line. It's probably a small line that may go unnoticed, maybe it doesn't, but to me, it's probably my favorite line, one of my favorite lines from the movie, where the manager of the store says, "I need 6-inch ribbon curls," but that's impossible. 6 inches. I love that line so much, and I use it all the time when Courtney is wrapping presents, and she hates me for it, but it's okay. Anyway, Elf, by far, hands down, without a doubt, is George. I could make a case that it could be all 4 parts of the Mount Rushmore, but I won't do that because that's boring.
And it has one of your favorite actors in it too.
Yeah, and that's probably moving forward to a Rushmore way down the line, but Will Ferrell by far is on there in my Rushmore. But let's stick with this Rushmore, and Elf is the number 1, is the George Washington, easy, hands down, without a doubt. Number 2, this is Abe.
Which is Abe.
Yeah, here's my Abe. My Abe is really a series of movies, but I'll just go ahead and say it's the first installment of it, is Home Alone. I love Home Alone so much. There's a weird connection that I have to Home Alone, and this is going to make sense to anybody, and nobody's going to really find it amusing, but I do, just because it's personal to me. I distinctly remember watching Home Alone while I was home, right, as a kid, and eating white cheddar Cheez-Its. There's just this weird connection that I have with that. And if a movie brings back weird memories like that, there's obviously a connection. But Home Alone.
Come on!
Home Alone is great. Yeah. So every time, just kind of, we talked about it in the intro that we're both pastors, and we go out on trips, whether it's to camps, in our youth group, or we go to the mission trip in Atlanta with Kirk, or we go, anytime we're going on to some convention or something like that, I always do roll call, and I'll say, Kevin, and like no one gets it, right? Like maybe a couple of kids I'll get it, but I'm like, just taking roll call and throw Kevin in. In fact, at my church, we have a check-in system, and it prints out tags for, the kids that come in and stuff like that for security reasons. And our sample one, like if you're just running a test, is Kevin McAllister, and he's got a note. Like instead of saying asthma, it says "Do not leave Home Alone." So it's funny. Anyway, we love Home Alone. I love Home Alone so much. In fact, there's a new Home Alone, Kirk. I don't know if you've watched it yet on Disney Plus. It's called Home Sweet Home Alone. It's really good. Just plugging that. Disney Plus is not a sponsor, I promise. But yet, right? But anyway, so Home Sweet Home Alone is good. But I'm just gonna go with the original Home Alone. Fantastic movie. It's so good. And Home Alone 2, eliminate Home Alone 3, bad movie. But anyway, other than that, Home Alone is my Abe, is number 2. Okay.
DJ Jazzy Jeff.
My Jefferson, my TJ Jazzy Jeff, as we like to call him. We're gonna have to explain those. Anyway, we will. TJ, my third on my Rushmore is Jingle All the Way. Okay. And this kind of goes into the everybody has their own personal one. I'm not sure when you Google best Christmas movies of all time that this is going to be number 3 in most critics' eyes. But in my personal life, to me, where it's about my top 4 and nothing more, Jingle All the Way definitely gets number 3. It's Turbo Man. It's like the last time the world has seen Sinbad is in that movie. I don't know what happened to him.
Jamie.
I don't know what has happened to him since, but it's so good. It's a great movie. I feel like I want to say, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. But if you haven't seen it, what's wrong?
Me and Can Man watched it 2 days ago, man. It's so awesome.
Yeah, we watched it. That was, again, one of the things I mentioned that's our tradition now. We're starting. I watched it with Zoe for the first time. She loved it so much. In fact, she wants a Turbo Man doll. And I believe actually Walmart is like selling Turbo Man action figures, which is pretty cool. So fun to see that kind of coming back.
I need a booster.
Nobody cares about Booster anyway. But it's a great, it's such a good movie. Funny, hilarious. You won't
love those laughing. 3. Love those 3. I don't know that Jingle All the Way makes mine, but yeah, keep going.
Yeah, so it's just me. Again, it's personal. So that's my top 3 so far. I've got, just to recap, I've got Elf, I've got Home Alone, and I've got Jingle All the Way. And the hardest one to pick, it doesn't matter what our Rushmore is. I said this before. It doesn't matter what the topic is. The hardest one to pick is always your Roosevelt. It's your number 4, because what that means is it's closed. It's done. There's, there's not, Rushmore doesn't have a 5th president on it, right? They had to cut off some people there. And so this is tough. And I went back and forth between this movie and another movie, and I'll explain why I chose this movie. But my number 4 is Christmas Story. I just think classic. When I think of Christmas, TBS or whatever is showing it to us all day long on Christmas Eve through Christmas. There are times when, and this is one thing that I think is, specific to movies, I always think quotability. And I said that in Elf, I quote it all the time. As I've been unveiling my Rushmore, we've said quotes from the movie and things like that. Quotes to me are a big thing. And I was actually walking through Academy, also not a sponsor yet. No, but I was walking through Academy with my wife, and we're just doing some Christmas shopping. And I looked to the side, and lo and behold, there is a Red Ryder BB gun. And immediately we were having some other conversation. I don't even know what we're talking about, but my brain says, you need to say this quote. And I said it. Like, I couldn't leave that moment without saying, you'll shoot your eye out, kid.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
Dude, we're walking through Black Friday, Academy, and I say, Brittany, look at this. And I just knew she wasn't going to know the quote. And that's what she said. You're going to shoot your eye out. And I was like, wow, it's gone far if she knows it. Yeah. So it doesn't matter. And it, like, if I can just say that, and then like, there's other quotes from that movie too, like Fragile, it must be Italian. Just all of those things. It's a prestigious award type thing. I triple dog dare you.
Yeah. Oh, fudge. Like, you know what I mean? So like, there's just so many things that movie just brings back. It's so hard to explain. And I think Christmas, all of our Rushmores kind of involve an element of nostalgia because it's a personal thing to us. But Christmas brings up this whole other level of nostalgia that you can't explain in words. And Christmas Story, to me, brings that up as well. So that is my Rushmore of Christmas movies. To go over it real quick one more time. Number 1 is Elf. Number 2 is Home Alone. Number 3, Jingle All the Way. And then number 4, rounding it up, is A Christmas Story. So that's my Rushmore of Christmas movies.
Very, hey, that's a very good one. That's a very good one. So I just have a few in common. But a few that aren't. And so, man, I'm gonna just jump right in. My George, right? G-Dub. My George. George is number 1. I mean, he's the first president. George, right? My number 1. It's been my number 1 since, gosh, I can remember. Going back, every single time someone asks me to say grace, I feel like I need to do the line from the movie, right? And I'm rocking the shirt today, right? I'm in full effect. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Man, I cannot get enough. Every year, since I can remember, up until except this year, which was last night, matter of fact, we have watched that movie as we set up the Christmas tree. There was a little football going on last night, and so it was kind of competing. And so, but we have watched that movie. So I'm going to have to watch that movie tonight to kind of catch up. But a National Lampoon Christmas Vacation, Chevy Chase. I mean, from the very beginning to them going to get the Christmas tree and him singing "Joy to the World," dude, I get chills. And him putting that stuff on the bottom, that wax on the bottom of that can, and just zipping down the mountain into Walmart's trash can, all the way to Grace. Grace died 15 years ago.
Grace. She passed away 30 years ago.
Like, listen, this movie is one of my favorite movies, top to bottom. I can remember watching it with my buddies around Christmas in high school and even further back. Just a great movie. And it's even got a moment, and it always gets me, when he's sitting in the attic and he's watching the old movies play. I get a little teary-eyed. I got to. And then she pulls the attic down, and boom, he's gone. That's my George. It's my number 1. It has every one of my emotions. It has, it's the most quotability for me. It's just my favorite. And Cousin Eddie takes the cake, man. And he's got a few quotes I'm not going to name here, but yeah, it's awesome. There's also some things, I notice things in this movie almost every time I watch it that I didn't notice before, and I've probably seen it 100 times. Like I didn't realize he throws the bag of dog food on top of the light bulbs that he put in the basket. Eddie just crashes them all. I didn't notice that until probably about 5 years ago, and I've been watching that thing forever. And just love the movie. That's number 1. Number 2, it can't go too far down the list. It only falls behind Vacation because Vacation's my favorite, right? But if I was to throw the GOAT term out, it would probably have to go to your George movie, Elf, right? Elf. And for all the same reasons you named it, it is quotable, it's hilarious, great actor, great idea. It even throws in a little bit of the old classic, like, claymation puppet style for a little bit.
Bye, buddy. Hope you find your dad.
Thanks, Mr. Narwhal.
You know, it's just got everything. Just a great movie, and Jon Favreau has pretty much saved everything. So he directed that one. So yeah, just great movie. Can't say enough about that one. That would be my number 2, which is Lincoln, right? He's probably the second most important president on the list, right? So we'll probably jump in and have a whole segment about that. But moving forward, number 3, my TJ Jazzy Jeff, my Jefferson, a little different, probably just like yours. You had one that in the 3rd spot that probably doesn't make everybody's top 10. but it does make mine, and I'll tell you why. But mine is Deck the Halls, and Deck the Halls is just a phenomenal movie to me. And its premise of this movie is surrounded around seeing the house with the lights on from space.
I really want my house to be seen from space.
Right? And it just reminds me of my dad. You know, my dad had during Christmas time would have his house in the newspaper when that was a thing, for people to come and travel by, because there were so many lights outside. And it just stirs up a lot of nostalgic moments. Matthew Broderick is freaking hilarious in the movie. He's no Ferris, but he's really good. And Danny DeVito is great. It's just a great movie. I laugh from the beginning to the end. That's where I'm going to throw it my number 3. And then, just like you said, there are so many honorable mentions, right? So many 5, 6, 7, 8, but we're not talking about those, right? There are so many that could have jumped in to this final 4 spot, right? But I'm going to have to go with the same one you went with, man. Christmas Story. Christmas Story is lands on my 4 spot too, for more reasons than I can imagine. There were some movies that I was really thinking about that stirred some emotions. And every single time when I thought about the nostalgic factor, I thought about the 24-hour day of Christmas Story on TBS or TNT. You know, it's the same company to me, but the same channel, over and over again. You're going to shoot your eye out and watching the thieves or the bandits come jumping over the fence and the sticking the tongue. Let me tell you, when I was about 12, I had a standalone, like, large freezer, and I opened that thing up, and I was probably about 11 or 12, and I stuck my tongue on the metal rack of this freezer because it was the coldest thing I could think that would be mimicking to that movie. And I probably should have had the wherewithal to call somebody and pour some water or something on it, or even grab water beforehand, but I didn't, and I didn't want my parents to find out, so I ripped it off, and oh my goodness, that was one of the biggest pains I've ever had. So that, and I always really wanted one of those fragile lamps in my living room. So yeah, man, just a great group of movies. We could go on, but here's the thing: that's our top 4, right? Right. And so I think we want to challenge somebody a little bit, huh? What do you think their top 4 would be?
Yeah, I think, again, follow us on social media. Look, if you disagree with ours, I want to debate. I love doing this because, you know, all the time you're talking about this stuff, I'm like, yeah, I don't know, maybe I'd pick that one, maybe not, you know. But again, 2 of ours are similar. But there are so many Christmas movies, and again, it depends
Every
on
time a bell rings, an angel gets its wings.
Yeah. I mean, don't give me Miracle on 34th. Don't give me any of that kind of stuff. Come on, I don't want subtitle. No, I'm just kidding. I'm messing. You guys, opinion matters, and your Rushmore will matter, and I'm excited to hear it. Look, if you completely disagree, look, I want you to roast us in the comments and tell us that we don't know what we're talking about. Or if you completely agree, then, you know, boost our ego, you know, make us feel like we're smart. And no, but it's all again, everybody's Rushmore is personal. And just like you heard Kirk say, he literally felt the pain of Christmas Story by sticking his tongue and ripping his tongue out. So, like, there is a tie-in to a movie that maybe you have that we don't, but we love to hear that. That's kind of the whole joy of this Rushmore show.
Hey, let me add this. Every single time I put a jacket on Cannon, I imagine him going to school like this.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely.
It's just one of those things, man.
Absolutely. So
what I also love about Christmas Story, let me add, is the narration. It's kind of a one of a kind with that narration. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And also Ralphie is in Elf.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a tie-in in an inner Rushmore multiverse of, anyway, no, we're not going to go crazy with that. But yeah, so that's our Rushmores. You let us know what you think in the comments, DM us, anything like that on social media. Again, all of our social media links are going to be down in the description, and you can follow us and send us messages and do all of that kind of stuff. So that's our Rushmores. Let us know what you think. All right, guys. So we have one final segment in our teaser episode for you. This is something we like to do called Who's Your George? All right. And before we get into that, let's explain what that means. So you guys heard our Rushmores that we've got our top 4 presidents. We've got George Washington, Abe Lincoln. We've got TJ Jazzy Jeff or Thomas Jefferson. We like to give them little names. And then we're rounding it up. We've got Teddy Roosevelt. And that's kind of the order. I don't know why or how this started or how we decided that that's our order of our top 4. But
well, I think George is just one right off the bat.
George
right?
Washington was the number 1. He was the first president. So it's obvious he's your number 1. So like when we talked about our George, my George of Christmas movies was Elf, right? So my number 1. Then number 2 is Abe Lincoln. Not really sure why, other than just maybe you remember him. He's got the beard. He's got the hat.
He's got a cool hat. He did something for slavery. He did all kinds of real cool things.
Just a little something, right?
he seems to be pretty awesome.
Yeah, so he's your number 2, right? Number 3 is I love saying it, TJ Jazzy Jeff, Thomas Jefferson. Again, not really sure why he became 3. He just kind of did it. I also think, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, I gotta have to pull up a picture of the actual Jefferson or of the actual Rushmore, but I feel like he's a little bit more prevalent. You know what I mean? As opposed to number 4, which is Teddy Roosevelt. Kind of seems like he's tucked back in a corner a little bit behind Abe or behind Jefferson.
TJ kind of gets his own mountain almost. Like his own
by himself, right? Anyway, so that's how the 4 presidents work. You can disagree. Again, you can send me comments and say, hey, Lincoln should be your number 1. And that's okay. I hope nobody's like really upset about that. But anyway, if you're a distant relative of one of those presidents and you find offense to that, please email us and let us know. And anyway, I'm talking too long, but let me introduce this segment. This segment is called Who's Your George? And what we do in this is I give a minute on the timer, and I just throw out some random topics. And I'm going to do this today to Kirk. Throw out some random topics, and with no planning beforehand, he doesn't know what I'm asking him. He's got to just give me the George, right, of that time. And we're going to see if he can get all of these topics. I think I got like 14 or 15 of them.
The George of all time.
Yeah, if he can give me his number 1, let's see if he can get through all of the questions, or if the timer hits him first. We'll kind of see. Now, today's Who's Your George, just going along in line with our theme for today, Christmas movies, Christmas time. These are, for the most part, Christmas kind of themed topics here. Some of them you're going to have to, bear with me a little bit. But for the most part, you can have some kind of Christmas tie-in with these. So without any further ado, are you ready, Kirk, for Who's Your George?
I'm kind of nervous of what these questions are, to be honest. All right, here we go. So 15 of 1 minute, that means I have about 4 seconds per. Yeah, man.
It'll take me longer to tell you the topic. We don't know if this is going to work, but we're going to see. I think it's going to be fun.
Here we go. All
right, so I'm going to start the timer once you start answering, okay? So you pretty much dictate when the timer starts, okay? So you really have a little bit more time with this first one, but it's okay. So my first topic in Who's Your George is, let me make sure I get it right. I've got my list right here. What is your George? Who is your George of ice cream flavors? Go.
I'd have to go with Bluebell homemade vanilla.
Solid. Okay. Ice cream topping.
Peanut butter.
Okay.
Melted.
Yeah, of course. Present, either that you've gotten or just present in general.
Oh, right off the bat, I think of the toy from Mask, which is the 18-wheeler truck toy. It's actually, it's got a funny story with it. But
we'll talk about it later. Okay. Hot beverage for Christmas.
Hot beverage. I'm going to go with coffee.
Coffee. Christmas song.
White Christmas by the Drifters.
Christmas carol.
Oh, come all ye faithful. There you go.
Cookie. Christmas cookie.
Crispy cookie, sugar cookie.
There he goes. Dinner item at a Christmas meal.
Dinner item. The ham, man. The ham.
Tradition.
Tradition. Setting up Christmas lights.
Oh, that's the timer. Wow, that was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. But
how many did we get through?
We got through, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of 14. Not bad.
Well, the toy one, I had to go into a little depth, but I could have probably went faster. I got off key. We'll get better.
Hey, just for fun, let's ask these last few just to get your last, because we only got a couple more. Character. Christmas
character?
Yeah.
See, I would have got stumped on this one. It's a good thing we stopped.
Yeah.
Let me go with favorite Christmas character. Elf. What?
Okay.
What? Elf.
Okay. Well, I was thinking like Santa, Rudolph, Frosty, those.
Or an elf. An elf.
An elf. Yeah, you're right. Okay.
Okay. Well, I was gonna go with Frosty, so I'll put Frosty as my Lincoln. Just saying.
Right. These get fun. Christmas smell.
Ooh, Christmas smell. Peppermint.
Oh, good one. I'm gonna go fresh baked cookies, but that's just me. Anyway, flavor. Christmas flavor.
Oh, well, it goes right with the last one I just said. Peppermint bark is, gosh, I could put that in my coffee, my hot chocolate, candy, you name it. That's Christmas.
Yeah, and then so this kind of goes. What you got?
Oh, wait. What's your next question?
Okay, my next one kind of goes into that too. Is Christmas candy.
Christmas candy. Well, yeah, I would go with the peppermint bark.
Yeah,
but I was really, if you're gonna ask me a cold drink, maybe eggnog.
Okay.
Yeah, I love
did
eggnog.
not put cold drink on here. I guess I could have. And then the last one, rounding it up, is this is tough, and because I don't feel like I do this often. So maybe you don't have this. Maybe this doesn't work, but let's try it. Vacation spot
for Christmas.
Do you vacation at all during Christmas? All the families on Hallmark do it. Come on.
Christmas with the Cranks. Yeah, they go to Hawaii. That was almost on my list, by the way. Yeah, I don't really do it. I guess going back to the family. But going back home to New Orleans area. So that would probably be it for a Christmas vacation. Now, later in the summer, I think we're doing a vacation spot, and I have much better locations.
Yeah, well, you'll have to tune in for our summer episode to get that. But that's gonna be fun. So that is Who's Your George. We got through 9 of 14. I have a feeling that if we would have gotten to number 10 and on, that would have just taken too long because there's some pretty tough ones there. But overall, Kirk, fantastic job for the first
9. I got the 9. Okay, so the record is 9. Let's go.
All-time record for most gotten through in the 1 minute is 9. So.
Hey guys, thanks for joining Andy and I here on the Rushmore Show. And man, we had such a blast with you today, just giving you a little bit of a sneak peek of what we're planning on doing over the next few years and going forward. But just want to give you a little bit of heads up, a little logistical things. Like log in to all of our social media accounts again and like, share, invite. We'll be looking for guest speakers. We'll be looking for people that want to jump in and hang out with us. If you want to be a part of the show, be sure to email us. We'll put an email down in the description. But also, I would like for you to share some of your topics that you want us to go ahead and do. And our very first episode will launch 2022, first Monday of the year, January 3rd. We're going to go every Monday. From that point out, you'll see a new episode with me and Andy and maybe one of you. So thanks for joining us. Andy, what you got?
Hey, again, just reiterating everything Kirk said. I am so thrilled where this is going. I had a ton of fun today just talking about Christmas movies and get to hang out with you guys. But just like he said, every Monday, follow us on social media. Make sure sharing, letting your friends know Send us, like I said earlier, roast us in the comments. Let us know if you completely disagree with our Rushmores.
I
And
really feel like there's going to be a lot of roasting going on going forward.
Yeah, there's gonna be chestnuts roasting on an open fire. There's gonna be all kinds of stuff. Hey, Christmas, there it is. No, but yeah, definitely just interact with us through social media. We love that. We're gonna be so excited for that. And I look forward to hearing how much you disagree with Kirk's and agree with mine. But no, it's all good. And follow us, like us, share it with your friends, share it with your grandma, share it with your aunt and cousin and every one of your friends. And it's going to be a blast. So excited for what is to come.
Yeah. We'll see you guys next time. We love y'all. Peace out.
Remember, this is the Rushmore Show, where it's all about your top 4 and nothing more. Peace.